Hi, and welcome to the Bruce channel. I'm Bruce. Today we started with a question. The answer will be revealed at the end. The question begins with acknowledging what most of us know. The moon is unique in our solar system in that it is the largest moon relative to the size of the planet it orbits. Our moon is about 1/6 the size of Earth, and if you recall the grainy videos from the astronauts when they bounced around the moon, the gravity is about 1/6 of the Earth, which is why the astronauts could bounce around. Question is, this, I freely admit, I stole it from someone else. I can't tell you whom just yet. But the question is, what weighs more on the moon than it weighs on the Earth? So, think about it. Speaking of the moon, did you see the news? First, some background. Google has a moonshot contest. $20 million goes to the first team that can, one, successfully place a robot on the moon's surface. I don't mean Photoshop, I could do that. Two, land the robot, and it must travel at least 500 meters. That's a little less than a third of a mile. And three, it has to transmit HD video and stills back to the Earth. That should be the easy part. I just wish I'd known of this sooner. I can tell you, I could use the 20 mil. Anyway, there are 16 teams of what Google calls engineers and innovators and entrepreneurs working on it. This week, news came. NASA has given approval, has okayed for Moon Express. That is a private company in Cape Canaveral, and they now have approval to go for it. And NASA gave the approval, but it was after meetings with the White House and the State Department. And why did a private company need government approval? Because surely the government doesn't own the moon, and no, they don't. But you go on a plane, there's a lot of regulations mandating the plane's fitness, the pilot's fitness, and you're not likely to bump into another plane. It has happened, it will happen again, but it's not likely because planes' routes and altitudes are directed by ground control. So if you want to launch a rocket, probably good if the people on the ground knew about it and could keep the aircraft away. And also, there is an international treaty. It's called the Outer Space Treaty. 1967 it was signed, and the U.S. did, and the Soviet Union did. In fact, they initiated it. So, yeah. Anyway, Moon Express, the company, says their attempt will be next year. So you know how it is, you wash your car and it rains. There are other little things in life that seemingly are causal. If you're not in a big hurry, you'll make every light green. If you are pressed for time, everyone will turn red just a moment too soon for you to try and sneak through pretending it's yellow. I have an image. I remember this. Yeah, this used to be normal. Now it's as gone as our dinosaurs, at least in this country. But it is true, kids. People smoked in public. They smoked at the ballpark. They smoked on planes, in the air, in restaurants. In fact, even if you and no one in your household smoked, you still put out ashtrays for your guests that did. All right, so finishing the thought of causals. Okay. If you were in a restaurant waiting for your food and you lit your cigarette, that's when the food would arrive. So there's these little causal things that sort of happen. It was like that. Last week I spoke of my lawn being crunchy. It was so dry. It was still that way Tuesday, and now I can't mow because it's always wet. On Thursday, not far from here, maybe a half hour's drive, they got 11 inches in the one day on Thursday. So good deal of rain. I don't know when the next mowing will occur, but it's going to be ugly. Okay, so last week I told you I was going to go see the documentary Hillary's America. I did. Now, it's been a busy week for a variety. Not among the reasons has been mowing, but the movie did make some interesting points, some of which I'd known, some of which I didn't. It was a busy week, so I didn't have time to go through all of it. I'll do that. I'll let you know what I think of it next week. It is true, the movie did present an unflattering picture of our Democratic nominee, as would be true for anyone if you were making a case for or against any candidate, you could do that. And some of the things are clearly true. Others rather obscure, and I'm not entirely convinced, so those are the ones I want to look into. But I will tell you this. Wow. I don't know, have I told you before I don't go to the movies much? I have been spoiled by technology. I just don't go to the film very often. A long time ago there was VHS tape. That was pretty cool. I could rent a tape and watch it at my leisure, in a leisure suit or even my birthday suit. If I wanted to get a drink, I could pause it, get popcorn. I love the fact that I didn't miss any of the movie, and of course tapes were supplanted, DVD, pictures became incredible, and then Blu-ray and widescreen and then streaming in HD, so I'm spoiled. And until this week, it's been a long time since I went to the movies. I discovered just how much things have changed. Lots of times, turn off your cell phones. Well, the last time I went to the film, we didn't have ads like that. Oh, and ads, yeah, lots and lots and lots and lots of ads. Just stuff, local businesses and whatnot. You can get in with a credit card or a debit card and your snacks. Thing that ticked me off, start time used to mean start time. At the start time, that apparently means, all right, now is when we start to show you all the previews. Looks just like my DVD or Blu-ray with all the green, this motion picture has been rated. So anyway, when the movie did finally start, it was much past the time. So a lot of things have changed. And it made me think, well, when was the last time I went to the theater? I remember the film, The Talented Mr. Ripley. It was Christmas Day. It was 1999.
Hey, let me tell you about my book, Shrink. For most of my adult life, I weighed a little over 100 pounds. Not much more than in this picture taken when I was about 17 and considering becoming a jockey. But as is often true, once I crossed into my 40s, extra weight came and it stayed. For years I tried to lose, instead gained, and ended up 153 pounds. And I'm embarrassed to show you this video. Then I learned that it isn't about calories and exercise, but instead it's about what you eat. You might say, sure, ice cream makes you fat. But there were surprises, things like orange juice not being such a wise choice if you're trying to lose weight. So I just made some basic changes to what I ate, not how much, and the weight just fell off. Now, nearly 3 years later, it is still off. And don't misunderstand, I'm eating foods I like, not bamboo shoots. Friends ask me how I did it so often, I put it in a book. It's available as an ebook for all platforms, and the print edition is available at barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com. Hey, you can shrink too.
Welcome back. Remember, you can write to us at the Bruce Channel at yahoo.com, and you can watch all of our previous episodes either at tinyurl.com/Bruce Channel or at our Facebook page. And if you tell your friends, we'd appreciate it. All right, so about a month ago, I spoke of how fear sells. I've spoken of it before, but this week, I saw another example. And I want to show you just how sneaky they can be. It strikes me as virtually unconscionable. So at the website of a well-known predictor of doom and gloom, I was reading an article. I do read. And I noticed an ad. And the ad evoked a memory, and I clicked on it. Background. The ad was at this website. This is a man who's been predicting catastrophe for years, a financial collapse, a political collapse, an overthrow of the government, a coup, nationwide martial law, something. Now, he's been doing this for years and years. Now, he's got a right to do that. Not only has he got a right to do it, he might be right, but that's not the issue. Point is, his audience, one of his advertisers, the one I'm going to show you, is in the business of selling non-perishable food. Several days worth, a week's worth, a month's worth, whatever. If you are genuinely worried that the government will collapse and your money won't buy anything, then you are an excellent prospect for this advertiser. So far, so good. I mean, you are a perfect prospect. You want to buy what I'm selling, right? But here is where it goes wrong. The specific pitch. My company got a letter from FEMA. Of course, that is the Federal Emergency Management Agency. We know they go in after hurricanes and tornadoes and like that, right? So the guy's pitches, this letter from FEMA proves something is coming. They're asking how much I could deliver on short notice, say 24 hours, if running at full capacity. He goes on to say, and I'm not quoting, but this is the pitch, so it seems to me something big is coming. I don't know what they've got in mind, and the feds could just seize it. Well, I'll tell you this, I'm not going to sell it to them. They could take it, but I won't sell it to them, because who knows how long I can hold out. So you better order yours today while you still can. After all, look at the letter. It's proof. Okay, so now remember, I saw this ad this week. Let's take note of two things. In this ad, the date of the letter is obscured. Why would that be? Remember, this letter is the basis. It is the heart of persuading you that the feds know something is coming. As I say, I've seen this ad before. It doesn't take a lot of Googling to find the original, July 29th, 2013. So point number one, to run this ad in this way with the date obscured, but offering it as proof something terrible is coming and that whatever terrible is coming, it is imminent, is scurrilous. It is outrageous. It is dastardly. They should be ashamed, but they are obviously way beyond feeling shame. Second point, not to make this political, but it has been 11 years since Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast. One lasting memory, it is there, it is in the record, the George W. Bush administration, FEMA, did a bad job handling the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. You may recall, too, I'm not making this political, but in the fall of 2012, Hurricane Sandy devastated parts of New Jersey, and even New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, a Republican, said FEMA, under President Obama, did a good job. If you're going to do FEMA, if you're running FEMA, if I were running FEMA and I want to do a good job, I just might send a letter to suppliers of non-perishable food or cots or bottled water and ask just those kinds of questions. How much? How quickly? I think it's called planning. All right, some quick hitters and then the answer to our opening challenge. Last week before maybe, I mentioned my surprise at discovering Whiteout. It's still available. So similarly this week,
Oops. Now there's a happy accident. An accident that could lead to opportunity. But then he had to take off his hat. And uh-oh, poor guy. Dry, lifeless hair can take the fun out of your life, but you can put it back with Brill Cream. With Brill Cream, a little dab'll do you. Watch Brill Cream put life in dry hair and fun back into your life. Brill Cream gives your hair that look the ladies love.
Excitingly clean, disturbingly healthy, so masculine. Watch.
Brill Cream, a little dabble do ya. Brill Cream, you look so debonair. Brill Cream, the gals will all pursue ya. They love to get their fingers in your hair.
Use Brill Cream and put life in your hair.
yep, you can still buy Brill Cream. That was from a long time ago, although still this galaxy. Anyway, you can still buy it. All right. A few weeks ago, I hit a home run. From my dad, either learned behavior or maybe inherited, I have an extreme wish to avoid crowds. I don't like traffic. I don't like long lines. And one way that manifests, I do my grocery shopping pretty early, 7:30. If it's a Sunday, maybe not quite that early because the store doesn't get busy until after church, but at around 7:30, always, whether it's on my list or not, I go to the meat counter. The grocery store that I patronize is the leading chain in the area. It is the one near me, And the one that is near me is also one of the largest they have. In it, they have their own butcher shop, not just a meat counter, a butcher shop. There's only like 2 stores in the whole area that they have that. They make their own sausages. They make their own boutique hamburgers, things like that, okay? Well, you may recall there was a famous expose on 2020 some years ago, not this chain, but the undercover reporters showed that when the expiration date on the meat in that chain came, they pull it and rewrap it with a new date. Not this chain. They would never do that. They don't want to throw their product away either, so when the date gets near, they put a special price on it. If it expires today, if it still hasn't sold and it's expiring today, they put a really good price on it. Those are gone pretty quickly. You have to go early. And over the years, I have hit some home runs, but no one was ever like this. Not percentage-wise. Take a look. The original price, $5.03, and with my loyalty card, 82 cents. Also this week, I saw a couple examples of misunderstanding, miscommunications. Here's one. Castanet? No, he said, okay. Love it. All right. It is not hard to imagine what might have happened long ago had Arnold Schwarzenegger read a sign about a bodybuilding contest, right? But what if the same sign were read by Gene Wilder, a.k.a. Dr. Frankenstein? All right, and although this is not a misunderstanding, nevertheless, it is worth a moment of appreciation. And it doesn't need parental approval, but you do have to be old enough. This is the awning of the cage of a spare. Yeah, I love it. All right, so finally, the answer to our opening question. Despite the moon's gravity being only 1/6 of our own here on Earth, what weighs more on the moon than here? Yepers, a helium balloon. Lighter than air here, but you can't be lighter than air if there is no air. And that comes either from Click or Clack. That is Ray Magliazzi of Cartop, the Tappet brothers. And that was one of his puzzlers. So, thanks, Ray. And thanks to you, too. May your upcoming week be the best one you've ever had.